want high-quality playmats? That's Noble.com. Playmats guaranteed to help you win. Noble.com. Visit ThousandNoble.com.
Playmats not actually guaranteed to help you win locals. Look cool, maybe, but not help you win. Not at all. Not even close, but maybe.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor, and I am here with Doflamingo versus Zoro, Animal Zoro. This was a super fun match, and honestly, Doflamingo is more fun than I expected. I very much did not want to play Doflamingo. Even though you guys voted for it, I was like, I don't want to be that much of a meta shill, but I get it. It's fun. So my opponent gets the shut up and come with us off of the Nami search and passes turn. And we're just going to go ahead and play our buggy, keep our options open. And there we see the Jinbei into Weevil. And my thought here was, I'll get Weevil, and then we'll play Jinbei off the leader ability. I feel like that's a pretty solid option, and we go ahead and pass the turn. So a couple things about this deck list that I really like is I think Teach is a really solid card. I can see the argument for not running it, but in my experience with the tournament I played with it, I do like the option. Especially because it negates the need to blind flip. So my opponent getting the Courier down and taking a chopper, I believe. I did miss it, I won't lie. And swinging 6, and we give him the 2k. Not sure if that was really the play. My opponent does kind of starve my hand this game. But we go ahead and play out the Jinbei off the Doflamingo and torn between the Boa or the Weevil, and I'm thinking Weevil, get the card advantage, keep cards in my hand, and we do get the Gecko back. And yeah, swinging 7 lets my opponent play that shut up and come with us card that we knew he had, but as long as he doesn't see the 3 cost chopper that lets him flood board, I'm okay. And he doesn't. He sees a blocker though, which is not really what I wanted to see, but you know, I'll take it over that chopper. And he does end up taking the 7k swing, and we pass turn with a decent amount of cards in hand. We've got the buggy on the field right where that glare is. That is a terrible glare. And the Jinbei Weevil play, honestly, just really good. Love that play. Big fan. And it's my alt art Jinbei, so super big fan there. My opponent playing down the chopper and cheating out the hiking bear. Pretty good play there. Pretty good combination. And with the rest of his Dawn, goes ahead and puts 1 on lead, 1 on chopper, swinging the, I believe that's 6 with chopper, and we take getting the Law and the 6 with the Zoro, and we counter out with another Law. So keeping our hand size kind of low, honestly, or lower than I expected. My opponent swinging into life here. And eventually he stops doing that, and that stinks. But we top deck another Jinbei, which, wow, we're truly the luckiest. Tapping 2 to play the Teach down, and then Teach ability to put, I'm thinking Jinbei into Boa at the top of my hand. And I think part of the reason my hand size was so small this game is because I was seeing these pieces to put, you know, this card into the top, and then, you know, getting my Jinbeis. So definitely hurt a bit, but I go ahead, swing Jinbei, a whole big 7 there. And he goes ahead and takes that hit. So getting already down to 3 life, pretty solid from us. And then a 7 from the Weevil coming in, and another hit. So pretty solid there. No trigger, which you love to see it. And considering we're 4 minutes into the game and we've got my opponent down to 2 life already, we're sitting pretty good. And yeah, we go ahead, leader ability to play out the Jinbei and then play out the Boa. attaching the Dawn there, and did we forget to search the top 3 of our life or our deck? Ooh, life, that's crazy. Looks like we do. Whoopsies. That would have been pretty helpful in all honesty. So, yeah, we end up pretty much having a full board. Our hand, not so full though. I definitely feel like if you see all the pieces you need with this deck, you're not gonna have a lot in hand, which is a bit of a bummer. I think there were several decks that ran the 10 drop draw 4 Kaido, and I can see adding that in. I cannot find mine. I know I have several, but yeah, I cannot find them right now. So I went for a list that did not have the draw Kaido. So the Dawn getting attached to Zoro, and yeah, he's got a full board, potentially some serious damage coming in. With 3 cards in hand, 3 counter in hand. Yeah, we may not be keeping our board up much longer, realistically, which is a bit of a bummer, but hey, you know, it happens to the best of us. But yeah, my opponent taking some time to think about what he wants to do, adding that Dawn onto Hiking Bear, using Hiking Bear ability to buff the Chopper, making that a 6k, I believe. With the Zoro buff as well as Hiking Bear buff. So pretty solid body just from, you know, no Dawn required for that, which is wild. Definitely really, Zoro is a very good list. The 6k coming in, I think 6k coming at the Jinbei, and yeah, I just let him go. I have to let him go, unfortunately. And then another 6 coming at probably, I would assume a Jinbei, or a rested character. Ideally, I'd like to keep Weevil up, and I think I do want to keep Jinbei up, but he may be a little too expensive. But the 5 coming from Dr. Courier into Jinbei, I give him the Jozu. I feel like there's a world where Jozu would have been really good to play, but I think Jozu lets you bounce a character back to your hand, so, which I guess would let you replay Jinbeis, which I think is a plus with the Jozu, if I'm not mistaken. I could totally be mistaken. But yeah, we end up letting Jinbei go. We do have a Gecko in our hand. We can get the Jinbei back if we wanted with the Gecko. Definitely an option. And yeah, just loading the rest, thinking about loading the rest of the Dawn onto Leader. There's a couple different plays he could do. He could swing Nami, he could load up on Leader, or if he has another body, he could play another cheap body with 3 Dawn, swinging the 6 at the Weevil. And I do give him the Law, going down to 1 card in hand. Not super thrilled about that, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it was okay. If he swung Nami, I think all she could get to is 5, so just swinging the life. But he does let Courier go to tap 3 to play another blocker Chopper. And yeah, so we end up top decking our Sengoku, which Sengoku, honestly, I might get rid of Sengoku or drop Sengoku for the 1-cost Perona, which lets me sort the top of my deck. I think that might be better. Also, I don't know, I feel like with Sengoku, you have the potential to bottom a lot of really strong cards. And I think I don't bottom too many strong cards here, but we see Weevil, we see 2 of our Boas, a Buggy, and we see Perfume Femur, and with those 2 blockers out, I am thinking, oh, I need Perfume Femur. It's tough. It's tough. I think that Boa might have been a better choice, but with those 2 blockers in front of me and seeing the 1 of Femur, I'm like, I have to grab Femur, just in case. And I don't think realistically that was the play. I don't think well, I don't think enough said. I know it doesn't come back to bite me in the butt, but it definitely could have. But we do end up dropping our Gecko just to get another 2k in hand, not really having a ton of 2ks in the trash. We just decided to take Croc. Granted, if we took something else, we could have potentially played something else. And with the way that my board is set, I think I want to swing and then potentially play or do a Delphi ability. So we swing 6 at lean. And my thought is, with how aggressive he's been taking life, with how aggressive he's been taking his life, and how fast he can flood his board, I am going to ignore his board and try my best to swing in for his life. And there we go, blind flipping the Jinbei, which is really exciting. Unfortunately, I don't have anything else to play in my hand. If I had any insight that there was going to be my third Jinbei so close to the top, I may not have grabbed Croc. But of course, I had no insight to that. So the 7 with the Doflamingo, looking like it's going to get blocked with a chopper blocker. Pretty solid play for us, getting rid of one of the chopper blockers. If we can keep a majority of our board up, we can definitely go for game. But it all just kind of depends on how this next turn goes for my opponent. And yeah, I'm telling you, not having cards in hand is hurting a lot right now. I only have the 2k encounter. Yeah, so my cards right now, my opponent should have the information that my cards right now are just Femur and that 2k Croc. Definitely not the ideal hand. I don't know. I'm not really in love with Femur as a card. It's not. I feel like Jinbei is like just a way better card, but you know, maybe I'm totally wrong. Let me know what you guys think, if you think that Femur and Jinbei are on the same level. I feel like Jinbei is way more powerful. I don't know why. But my opponent goes ahead, swings 6 into the Jinbei, and while I could block it, I don't feel like it's worth it. Depending on what my opponent does here, he is on his 9 Dawn turn. So depending on what my opponent does here, there is a chance that we could see something big like this dragon here. So attaching 1 Dawn to what is his name, Zoro, and then attaching 2 to Hiking Bear from the dragon ability, making that. I mean, honestly, this has the potential to be a very painful turn. My opponent's swinging Hiking Bear into Weevil, and I go ahead and give him the 2k. And my thought behind it was he wants to clear Weevil. I could take 2 life here, but this forces another swing into Weevil. And yeah, so taking some time to think if I want to block or not. And then he goes ahead and swings the, 10 into, is it 10? 8 or 10, I can't remember right now. Or 9 or 10, excuse me, with the Zoro ability into life. And we get the boa blocker. So realistically thinking, excuse me, it is a late after work, but realistically thinking that boa blocker can help us potentially go for game. Seeing as my opponent had a ton of cards in hand and we did top deck the pudding, I do decide to drop the pudding, make it a little bit more difficult for him to potentially counter. I think he did confirm that I did make his hand worse, which is interesting if you consider how much life he took. So yeah, that's the thing about pudding. I feel like it's so hard. Excuse me, it's so hard to know if it's the right time, and I feel like there are times where I pudding and save someone's hand, and yeah, definitely tough. So getting 5 cards versus I believe about the 7 he had, and with the life or the Dawn we have left, we do have a teach, so we can use some we can move some Rested Dawn, but we end up swinging 7 with the Gecko. 1 blocker on board, but we do have Diablo Jambe, Perfume Femur. Moving some Dawn around, trying to figure out the best way to go for game and trying to make it less obvious. Of course, I don't think that's conveying very well, but yeah, with the 5 cards he has in hand, there's a potential we swing 7. We can swing 7 with the Boa blocker, and then what is that? 9 with Boa ability on Dofi, I believe. Excuse me, this is my second time doing this voiceover. My premiere crashed the first time, very much a bummer. But yeah, using Teach and to put Boa up top, and then using Boa or Dofi to play out Boa, I think gives us the most optimal Dawn usage, and it lets us swing. Granted, swinging with the Boa blocker is always scary, especially because I feel like if we go for game and we don't get it, there's a good chance we will struggle on the clapback. But we do end up getting, with that 7k swing, we do end up getting a chopper blocker. I am so sorry. Swinging 8 with Boa here, which I think that's a solid play. I don't hate that. We've got 1, 2. We'll be able to add 2 Rested Dawn and then 3 Dawn. And with the 8, my opponent goes ahead and takes it. And using Teach ability to attach 2 Rested Dawn with the, the 8k swing incoming. And yeah, putting the Boa on top so that we can secure the 9k swing. And yeah, so 9k going into life, and my opponent can only meet 9k. So really lucky there. I think getting the Boa off of life was very helpful. Actually, I know it was very helpful. But yeah, I think honestly I feel pretty confident about how we played that. And yeah, it was a really fun one. So that's gonna go ahead and do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.